What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna show y'all how to catch sheepshead, where to target them, how to target them, and what tackle to use. Sheepshead, we all know, are some of the most tastiest fish out here in the ocean, and today we're gonna show y'all how to catch them. So here we go. All right, y'all, so the first thing that we want to talk about for sheepshead is what they eat. What they eat is what makes them so tasty. Sheepshead, they eat pretty much all crustaceans. So crabs, shrimp, fiddler crabs, stone crabs, even barnacles. So that's what makes their meat just so yummy, so tasty. And but that's what we need to focus on first for how to target the sheepshead and where to target them. I'm standing here on a bridge piling right underneath the bridge, and this is one of the most popular places to target sheepshead, is right next to these bridge pilings. It's where the barnacles grow, it's where crabs kind of adhere to, and it's where sheepshead like to call home. Structure. Structure is the #1 focus when it comes to targeting sheepshead. So docks, bridge pilings, even just a random pole out in the middle of the ocean can have sheepshead on it. So check it out. Hit a zoom in on one of those little poles out there. So this is actually the Chesapeake Bay right here behind me, and we have some poles out there. We have some like channel markers. Then we have behind that, you can hit another zoom into the Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel behind me. It is one of the most popular sheepshead fisheries here in the Mid-Atlantic, and just in general. And here's some footage of Christy and I and one of our good buddies, Elias V, fishing, catching some trophy-sized sheepshead. There we go. Fish on.
Awesome.
Dude,
nice job,
nice.
Dude.
That is
nice
sick. That is massive.
Sick. Nice job, dude.
So these sheepshead, they are going to adhere to structure. It could be in 2 to 3 feet in a backwater creek or in an inlet. It could be out in the middle of the Chesapeake Bay or a few miles offshore in Texas. But again, it's structure. So oysters, an oyster bar, oyster reef, an artificial reef, ocean wreck. But again, just bridge pilings are excellent places where you want to look for, and I guarantee you're going to find sheepshead. So for sheepshead fishing, what Christy and I do here at One Fish Two Fish is this bridge right here has like 5 to 7 pilings. We are going to spend maybe 4 minutes on each bridge piling. They're either there or they're not. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop our baits down to the bottom, and I'm gonna drop my bottom sweeper jig down to the bottom. This is my favorite sheepshead jig. So I'm gonna show you guys in a quick second my favorite tackle and setups that I like to use. But if I had to pick one, it would be this. It'd be a bottom sweeper jig. This is a 1 ounce jig, and I like to put quarter-size blue crabs on it. That's what's going to attract the trophy-sized sheepshead. I'll show you guys how I caught that big old sheepshead, and Elias caught his really big one. So we've got a half of a blue crab right here, just cut in half, and then we're just cutting these into quarter-size pieces, taking the half size and cutting them in half. Pretty much it right there. It's a quarter-size blue crab, taking off the legs and all the little paddle tail, and just honestly, just using that right there, that gets it done. Quarter size blue crab. Going in through one of the legs, out through, so we're just going in through one of the legs and just going out through the body. That's pretty much it right there. So not to get too far ahead of ourselves, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're just gonna run and gun approach to it. So we're gonna, when we're out here fishing the Bay Bridge tunnel behind me, there's thousands of pilings. So what I'm gonna be looking for is I'm looking at my electronics for any changes in the bottom, and also if I know of any rock piles on the bottom or any wrecks, those are places that I'm gonna target. So I'm gonna try and get my bait as close as possible to the barnacles, to the seawall, to the pole, to whatever I'm fishing up against, because that's where the sheepshead are gonna be. I'm gonna drop it to the bottom, and I'm gonna give it about 10 seconds for about every 2 to 3 feet. So I'm first gonna drop my bait to the bottom, make sure that I'm on the bottom. I'm gonna give it 10 seconds, probably reel up a few cranks so I'm just a few inches up off the bottom. If I don't get any taps there, I'm gonna keep going up probably 2 or 3 feet, probably 2 or 3 more feet. And then when you get to the middle part of the water column, if you haven't gotten any action, you've either A, gotten your bait stolen, or there's no fish there. All right, y'all, Christy, my lovely wife right here, is gonna talk to you guys about the best bait to use for sheepshead. What you got?
That's right. All right, you guys, so when y'all are targeting some sheepshead out by the piling, wherever you guys are, right against that structure, there's gonna be 5 main kinds of bait that you guys are really gonna wanna pick up at your local tackle shop and have kind of on hand when you guys are out on the water. One of our favorites is to use sand fleas, little sand crabs, whether they're frozen or fresh. A lot of folks say to use them fresh. Honestly, Jeff and I have found even the frozen ones to be super effective all summer long. Also, stone crabs are going to be an awesome kind of, just another kind of crab in your little arsenal for all your baits. Fiddlers are amazing. Sometimes you want to pull off their little kind of pinchers or whatever, but go ahead and grab them. They're really good. Also, fresh shrimp, especially if you guys are down south, shrimp is going to be key for getting on them. All right, or if you guys are looking to use your high-low rig to get on some sheepshead, definitely want to think about throwing on some sand fleas. I really like this one. It's super easy, super basic. Again, you've got your 2 hooks, so sand fleas or your fiddler crabs work great on this. If y'all are feeling saucy, maybe switch up the baits. I have 1 sand flea and 1 fiddler crab. See what those sheepshead are really looking for, and you'll be able to tell. Sometimes they'll just be taking your bottom bait, and then that's when you know, all right, they really are looking for that fiddler crab. Then go ahead and just use fiddler crabs.
All right, so just like Christy was saying, our 3 main setups are, we've got our bottom sweeper jig. This is great if you're targeting trophy sheepshead with quarter-size blue crab, fiddler crabs, or stone crabs. Excellent, excellent jig head, and this is where we catch some of our biggest sheepshead on. We will leave a link in the description below for everything that we're using. Again, as Christy was saying, the high-low rig is excellent, especially say when you're fishing not on a boat and you're fishing on land or you're hopping up onto a bridge piling. This is excellent because you have the heavier weight. You can change this up. Sometimes 4 or even 5 ounce weights are what we're using to make sure that we're keeping our line and our bait in the zone as close as we can to the structure, to the barnacles, to the pole, piling, whatever it is. Yeah, and so the third setup is the Carolina rig. And again, you've just got your egg sinker right here. You've got your 2-way swivel, and depending on how much leader line that you want, I'm using anywhere from 1 to 2 feet of 15, 20, 25 pound test, and again, a smaller hook. Also, if you're in Texas, very popular down there is fishing for the sheepshead off of the jetties. And one thing that we didn't show here is fishing like a float rig, or something that's really popular in Texas is a lemon rig. And there's plenty of material and content on Google, on YouTube for y'all to look. We just didn't have enough time to talk about it. But if you are fishing a jetty, then it doesn't mean that you have to use a heavy weight or fishing your bait right smack on the bottom. If you're fishing a jetty, I would recommend using a float rig and keeping your bait right into the zone, just above the rocks, right where those sheepshead are gonna be. So not everything's gonna be focused for sheepshead fishing vertically, like straight up and down. Sometimes you might be fishing an oyster bar or an oyster reef in shallower water. That's where I would probably use a Carolina rig for that, so I can let my bait roll across the oyster reef, or I can just let my bait float up a few inches, you know, off of the oyster reef and just keep it in the zone. So that's where I would use a Carolina rig. But again, some people, they do like to use the float rigs, especially when you're fishing off of jetties. Really popular in Texas. All right, y'all, so for sheepshead fishing, you're gonna be looking for inlets or excellent places where you have bridges just like this. That's really what you want to do, is you want to have that run and gun approach to it. If you're in a kayak, then you probably have the advantage over everybody, especially boats, because you can position your kayak right in the zone and you can be a little bit more stealthy. Sometimes with a boat, it can be a little bit more challenging because you want to keep your boat as close as you can to the structure without getting your boat all jacked up, you know, keeping it in position in the current. Up here in the mid-Atlantic, sheepshead fishing really starts to pick up when that water temperature, you know, gets into the upper 60s. So that's kind of May, mid-May going into June is when we start to see our sheepshead fishing pick up here in the mid-Atlantic. If you're down in Florida and Texas, it's actually the other way around, and you're gonna be doing your sheepshead fishing in the winter time. So February is the prime month if you're in Texas to target those sheepshead up on the jetties and in the shallows. So no matter where you're at, sheepshead fishing, it's a blast, it's fun, you can catch tons of them, kids love it, it's great, and it's some of the best eating fish out there in the world. So anyways, that's it, you guys. Hope y'all enjoyed this quick tutorial on how to catch sheepshead. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to this channel. One fish, two fish. Christy, turn the camera around and say something.
All right, y'all, hopefully you guys are gonna maximize y'all's time out on the water. If you guys get on some sheepshead, send us some pictures. We'd love to see your catches. And until next time, peace out.
Peace.